Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you are focused on unlocking serious international growth right now, you are in exactly the right place. Okay, let's dive into this. This strengthening relationship between the UK and India is opening up this just extraordinary economic corridor for British businesses. But there's a stark reality here. Entering India is definitely not the same thing as actually succeeding in India. So today, we're unpacking the massive strategic opportunity of UK businesses entering the Indian market and why you really need to completely rethink your approach by designing an India value system.
Here is our agenda, which is really your strategic blueprint for shifting from a basic export mindset to true ecosystem integration. We've got 1, the illusion of scale; 2, the product-first trap; 3, designing your value system; 4, stop searching for distributors; and finally, 5, your global business architecture.
Section 1. The illusion of scale.
1.4 billion. I mean, it's an absolutely extraordinary number, right? When business leaders see this population figure, they immediately see pound signs. But this number actually creates a really dangerous illusion. A population of over 1 billion people absolutely does not mean you have 1 billion potential customers for your specific product. To put that into perspective, a single Indian state like Uttar Pradesh has a population larger than the entire country of Brazil. So treating this massive, complex scale as just a single monolithic block, that's basically the first step toward a very, very expensive market entry failure.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core misconception. The myth is that India is just one massive uniform market, but the reality? It is a highly complex, interconnected system of totally distinct markets, industries, regions, and ecosystems. A premium proposition that's wildly successful in London literally cannot just be copy-pasted into the market. It might require massive fundamental adaptation before it can even hope to succeed in Bengaluru, Mumbai, Delhi, Hyderabad, or Chennai.
The actual market for your product depends on this really complex web of realities. We're talking incredibly diverse income levels, totally distinct regional cultures, varying degrees of digital adoption, extreme price sensitivity, plus completely different infrastructure and distribution networks. A digital service, for instance, might need completely different payment integrations over there. A B2B proposition might require a totally revamped procurement process. Yes, this complexity is daunting, for sure, but remember this: complexity creates massive opportunity, but only if it is deeply understood.
Section 2, the product-first trap.
So international businesses almost always focus first on the product itself. Picture this: a UK company with a truly excellent premium product decides to launch in India. But very quickly, things start going sideways. Because of freight, import duties, and distribution margins, the final price suddenly skyrockets. Then their distribution channels fracture. Customers get incredibly frustrated waiting weeks for imported replacement parts. The local digital systems completely fail to integrate with the UK platform, and suddenly the customer experience just falls off a cliff. There was absolutely nothing wrong with the product itself. It was the surrounding ecosystem that failed.
Which brings us to the most critical quote from our source material today. The question you should be asking isn't, how do we sell our UK product in India? The actual question is, what value system must exist for our business and our Indian partners to succeed together? Answering that specific question determines whether India becomes a highly sustainable growth platform for you, or just a very expensive, frustrating experiment.
Section 3, designing your value system.
Before committing any significant investment, you need a structured diagnosis of your value chain, the Modus value chain map. You just cannot build a successful presence without designing exactly how value flows from start to finish. It starts with the customer and proposition, like how must the product be localized? That naturally dictates sourcing and manufacturing. Can local sourcing improve your economics? Which then requires a specific partner ecosystem, relying on localized logistics and sales channels, all of which ultimately drives that final service and customer experience. You have to design how all these puzzle pieces connect seamlessly.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the strategic advisory from Modus suggests analyzing these issues. They use what they call transformation lenses, because a decision about entering India rarely affects just one part of your organization. Local manufacturing, for example, impacts literally everything. So you've got to ask cross-functional questions. How must the customer journey be localized? Where can AI actually improve our operations? How is the UK brand positioned and protected? And how do we meet ESG and sustainable objectives? Looking through these interconnected lenses prevents your market entry from being just a narrow sales project. It turns it into a true enterprise transformation.
Section 4. Stop searching for distributors.
Look, this is the traditional approach, and you need to stop doing this immediately. It usually goes like this. You find a distributor, you sign an agreement, ship the product, launch it, and then you just kind of hope demand grows. Appointing a distributor before you actually understand your value system creates massive long-term problems. Your distributor might have fantastic reach, but absolutely zero technical capability. They might sell effectively, but provide terrible customer service, which completely destroys your brand equity. Or they might just flat out refuse to share crucial customer data with you. Partner strategy has to follow value system design. Never precede it.
To build the right partnerships, we have to throw away old mindsets. The outdated assumption is that the UK provides all the innovation, and India simply provides low-cost execution. But the strategic reality today is entirely different. It's all about co-creation and mutual value creation. The absolute strongest UK-India partnerships happen when both sides bring strategic, high-level capabilities to the table, creating something vastly superior to a simple transactional relationship. When you align things properly, the synergies are just undeniable. The UK company contributes technology, intellectual property, brand prestige, and product innovation. Meanwhile, the Indian partner brings deep market intelligence, massive scale, world-class engineering and manufacturing, and access to an incredible talent pool. So, the defining strategic question for any partnership really becomes, what can we create together that neither organization could create as effectively on its own?
Section 5. Your global business architecture.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because viewing India merely as a destination for sales is a massive missed opportunity for global enterprises. India can actually play multiple strategic roles simultaneously. Yes, it is a vast customer market, but it can also be your globally competitive manufacturing base. It can be a vital sourcing ecosystem to strengthen your entire global supply chain. And, crucially, it can be your technology, engineering, and innovation hub, where you co-create products that you can later scale internationally. By going through this structured Modus India opportunity portfolio diagnosis, you basically turn a single, risky market entry project into a robust portfolio of strategic global opportunities. You protect value by identifying regulatory and brand risks way before you invest capital. You improve value by adapting your pricing, processes, and technology for the local market. And most importantly, you create new value through local manufacturing, innovation, and strategic joint ventures. You enter with absolute clarity, and you scale with intelligence.
So, the strategic question becomes so much bigger than just how much can we sell. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to take away from our explainer today. Will India simply be another export destination for your business, or will you design a value system that actually makes it the bridge to your next generation of global growth? Thank you so much for joining me to explore this fascinating and massive opportunity. Keep learning, keep designing, and I'll catch you on the next one.